Oh man, Lower Decks is so good. I'm so glad you got me into that.
I know.
I think remember you said you were like, "Oh, do you want to like pick a couple episodes?" And I was like, "Nah, let's just watch the whole
Whole
first season."
season. Yeah.
And now I'm nearing the end of the third season, and I'm like, I can't wait. I'm starting to get that thing where I'm like, I know it's only 5 seasons, so if I get into the fourth, I'm gonna really slow down because I'm not gonna
Yeah.
want it to end.
I know.
So
So are you in
yeah.
season 3 of Lower Decks now then?
I'm in season 3. I think I'm about halfway,
Okay.
maybe halfway
'Cause
through.
Amanda said the same thing in the chat that she made it to season 3 now too. So yeah,
Yeah.
you both took it and run with it.
Oh man, and it's so good. One of the episodes, the recent ones I saw was the Deep Space Nine one, and
Yeah.
man, that was so filled with like the music, the
Oh
nostalgia, all the
yeah.
voices, the
They really,
sounds.
yeah, they go for it
Man, they
for
did such
sure.
a good job.
I don't know if you saw, but on actual Star Trek Day, which is September 8th, they like surprise dropped these 2 episodes of this new like preschool age Star Trek show called Star Trek Scouts. Did you
Oh yeah,
watch
you
these?
told me about that. I didn't know, but
Oh, they're
you said that. I
they're
mean, if you
awful.
look at it, right? You had mentioned that
Yeah.
it's like a new show, and it looks exactly like the Star Wars. What is it? Young Adventures? No,
Young Jedi Adventures. It's Young Jedi Adventures. Yeah.
It is Young Jedi. Okay, Young Jedi.
Yes.
Yeah, and it looks exactly like it's probably playing to the same audience. Like, hey, that Star Wars show worked. Why not clone it and do it Star Trek? You
I
know?
watched the 2 shorts that they put out, and it made Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures seem like a sophisticated Godfather esque affair because these were like for maybe 3-year-olds, and it was more in the vein of
Oh,
like
really?
Spidey and His Amazing Friends on Disney or something. I mean, it's like a very, very low
Ah,
level thing where they're like shooting
okay.
cupcakes at asteroids and stuff. It was not fun.
You mean they're not like, I need to reroute the plasma converter?
No, no, there's nothing like that.
Daddy, what's a
No,
plasma converter?
it's like if Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and Young Jedi Adventures had like a weird spin-off geared towards an even younger crowd because it has those like
Oh,
interactive,
weird.
like what should we do kind of things. I mean, the character designs were cute, and I guess I can't fault them for trying to like broaden the franchise.
That's a little young.
It is, yeah, and especially when they
You
had something
know,
like Prodigy, which was so good. And I don't know, but
Prodigy was fun, and I wish
it
they
was,
did do a cartoon style about targeting the same age as Young Jedi Adventures, because I think that was very
yeah,
clever to do that.
yeah,
And it's, maybe they thought, well, there's a dime a dozen shows like that. It's like, but there isn't one of Star Trek. And
yeah.
if you want to encourage kids, I feel like Star Trek is all about, I guess, what STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics,
Yep.
right? Make the show kind of like Young Jedi Adventures, but they're problem solving using STEM or
Well, that's
STEAM,
a smart
whichever
idea.
you
That's
know.
a good idea. This was,
I'll just pitch
I
it
don't
to
know.
Robert Orkey right now. That's what
Why don't you give him a call? Yeah. I don't
Kurtzman.
know. I mean,
Yeah,
it's something, but it is just you can find it on YouTube. Star Trek Scouts.
yeah.
I think
Star
it's
Trek
just
Scouts.
just out of pure curiosity. I think give it a spin and see what you think, but it'll be very clear to you what
What are
their
they, like
goals
three
are in the
three
beginning.
minute episodes or something like
Yeah,
that?
pretty much. Yeah, and the
That makes
2 are
sense.
out now,
Yeah.
and they're gonna like unspool the next. I think it's a 20 episode order. When I saw like the surprise dropped a new animated Star Trek, I was like, ooh, but no, did not live up to Lower Decks or Prodigy or even Star Trek the animated series, which are all great.
I mean, that's something like that I'm gonna watch and be like pleasantly disappointed, if that's
Yeah,
possible. Where I'm gonna be like, oh,
yeah.
oh, and then I'm immediately gonna look at how long it is and realize it's only 3 minutes and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
you know?
There's a Vulcan character named Sprocket, and he has one bionic arm, and he has a little like pet turtle alien that also has a bionic arm. And I was like, well, that's cute, you know?
Yeah. Welcome to This Endorian Life, a nostalgic Star Wars podcast from the Radio Meanwhile Network. My name is Steve Rudd.
I'm Nick Gunning, and this week we're taking apart the world of Star Wars Lego brick by brick.
Today we're discussing the Yoda Chronicles, Episode 3, Attack of the Jedi. This episode originally aired on November 27th, 2013. Not too
Correct.
long ago. 12 years ago. 12 years ago.
It's been a while.
Almost.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
This is, of course, based on Star Wars by George Lucas. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. You should check it out. Unlike the previous two, I think you should. This episode has no physical release, but it is streaming on Disney Plus, and you could also buy it on various platforms, but not on DVD, unlike the other two.
Interesting.
This was written by Michael Price and directed by Michael Hegner. We have our cast coming back, as you might expect. And our Star Wars link this week is Kelly Metzger, who plays Vashti. She's a Togruta Jedi Padawan, so she's the same race as Ahsoka, so you recognize, the headdress situation. Which, did we ever establish, is that a headdress, or is that her head? Is that hair? I feel like in the Ahsoka show, I think it is her head. Yeah.
I think it's part of her head,
Yeah, I think so too. And in that Tales of the Jedi that follows her, you see her as a baby and stuff. So anyway,
it grows along with her.
That's true. It does.
So,
yeah. So Kelly Metzger is playing this character, Vashti, who is original to this series. She has many roles in live action and animation, but is probably best known for her role as Naya in the Lego Ninjago franchise.
Oh, wow. Ninjago. That's crazy that was popular. I feel like for me, all that like Ninjago stuff came out when I was too old, and I just had no interest in it whatsoever. And it was bizarre because it was still before Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like, wow, these are very Transformer-esque, but like Transformers isn't really that popular. It wasn't until we were in college when that first Transformers movie came out that all of a sudden it like exploded.
Well,
and
that dead zone between like when Transformers popped in the 80s and then when they kind of came back thanks to Michael Bay, I guess, was in that. Yeah, I haven't even seen that movie. My only interaction with Ninjago is I have played the game.
Okay.
I played that on Switch, but I was like, I don't know these characters or this world, but I like Lego games, so let's do it.
Yeah, because they all have names and
it's a whole thing.
Characters.
I mean, it's like
the whole
lore.
thing. Yeah.
I can't tell you anything about it, but it does exist.
Yeah. I guess it isn't. Is it an IP? I guess it's become an IP. Yeah, because it's like, I think for a while there were comics. I think too, right?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, like at the library, there's comics.
Yeah.
There's like chapter books. I mean, yeah.
Oh, weird.
I think it's probably Lego's most successful like franchise that they've tried to like make happen. Like that's their own
wild
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not popular for me. Like, so it was just too late. It was too late when it came out.
Yeah.
I remember when it came out, I was like, I'm not interested in that. Like, I preferred like the Star Wars Lego sets.
Right.
That's.
I don't think the movie really did big numbers. Like as popular as the first Lego movie was, and there was such a hunger for more.
Yeah, I saw the Lego movie very, very late in. Like years, probably a decade after it came out. When did it come out? When it came out in like 2017 or something like that.
Yeah, 2014 was the first movie.
2014. Okay, yeah, I only saw it like last year, and oh man, it's so good. Like I told people at work, I was like, you really need to see the Lego movie.
No, it's good.
Just stupid fun. Like it's good.
Yeah.
I thought the story was good too, and it was like a good. Again, they had the good moral lesson in it and everything, and it just was.
The second one's pretty solid,
silly
also.
and fun. The second one was very funny as well.
Yeah.
Yes,
and I love the Lego Batman movies. So I don't know. Maybe we're sleeping on Ninjago. Maybe we need to get on board.
Oh, geez, please no.
Yeah, you're right.
You start buying all the figurines and everything.
We've got too much going. We've got the Dukes of Hazzard next week. You know what I mean? There's just too much going
for that.
on in our lives.
Yeah.
I know.
But first,
yes, of course.
Let's go through the uber detailed plot of Yoda Chronicles: Attack of the Jedi.
Okay.
Palpatine's clone plan has failed, and the bad guys are losing epically. We open to a fierce battle that clearly looks one-sided as the droid armies are being obliterated. With Geonosis 1, the Jedi are recognized for their bravery by a visibly distraught Palpatine in front of the Senate. Naturally, the next course of action is to plan the victory party. Meanwhile, Dooku has opened a Sith Academy full of Badawans with attitude. Secretly, Cody discovers the academy. Palpatine okays a surprise attack on Mustafar, where the academy is. However, he plans to surprise the surprise attack by setting a trap. Palpatine attempts to go to Mustafar undetected, but is discovered by the Jedi, and they unknowingly go along with him. Several times, Palpatine is almost discovered as Sidious, especially when Grievous calls him and shows up beside him in space. A space chase ensues after Grievous into an asteroid field. Grievous jumps into hyperspace, but when the fleet pursues, they all enter hyperspace at the same time, colliding in a huge explosion. Sidious and the Jedi survive and build a new ship from the wreckage. They decide to call for help from none other than Jek. Jek is on Endor helping the Ewoks plant trees when the Jedi set off an Ewok trap. Jek wants to be alone, refusing to help them in their meaningless war. The Padawan's innocent plea convinces Jek to take action. Palpatine again tries to get to Mustafar first, but the Jedi suggest he stay with the Ewoks. Ugh. Grievous notifies Dooku that Sidious was with Jedi and that they must prepare without him. Back in the asteroid field, Jek assists the Jedi in putting all the ship pieces back together into one massive ship. They blast off to Mustafar, leaving Jek behind, but he accidentally used all the parts for the ship. Oops. Sidious is going nuts back on Endor with the Ewoks singing. He runs off claiming he's allergic to Ewoks and blasts off the planet in Jek's ship. Grievous finds him and fires upon him thinking he's Jek. Somehow Palpatine survived.
Nice.
And Grievous gives him a ride to Mustafar. Nice. Palpatine humbles the Badawans, but their plans to lay a trap fail as the Jedi have already arrived, catching Palpatine talking to the Sith. No matter, as the Jedi attack the Sith anyways. The Padawans battle the Badawans, and the Jedi duel the Sith. Admiral Attack Bar gets blaster happy, causing the Sith to retreat into the mountain. The clones attack and are ambushed while the Jedi ship is sabotaged by Palpatine with a grenade. The tide suddenly turns on the Jedi. Thankfully, when all hope is lost, Jek arrives just in time to neutralize the Sith and completely destroy their lava facility. Jek restores the Jedi ship, and they blast off, leaving the Sith to melt away slowly. Back home, Lindo already has the party started. Back on Endor, though, 3PO has to endure further vocal torture for the Ewoks while he sits suspended in the same trap he fell in earlier. Roll credits.
Just getting through that is proof of how cumbersome this episode was. There was just so much.
Yeah. There was so much and so little. Like the concept of the story was so small. This is another one where like the weird silly stuff pulled too much away from the basic linear storyline that needed to happen.
Well, I kind of perked up when Jek showed up. Up until then, I was like, what are we even doing? And then when Jek showed up, I was like, oh, right, there's this whole thing going on with this guy. Because like until that moment, I kind of forgot that was happening at all because it was just so exhausting, you know? Like, I don't know. The last one kind of won me over, and this one I was like, ah.
I mean, there was a big, you know how I am with like glaring plot holes.
Yeah.
When it was like, oh man, we really need Jek to help us because we can't put our ships back together. Well, how are you gonna go? How are you gonna go to? Like, I thought they were gonna like call him, but they didn't call him. They like flew to him.
Right.
I guess they rebuilt one ship so that they could take it, and then like, but if you could build one ship, why couldn't they build other ships? I don't know. That was weird to me. That like, oh, we need Jek's help.
There was a lot of Endor content, which I was excited about, given the genesis of our show here. But that was a little convoluted. I think Jek is interesting. You know, I think his powers are interesting. I think like what he does is the most compelling part of this show, and that's That's what's so weird to me because it's like this had a real goofy crawl where he was like, "Oh, what did I? Oh, and then this happened, and wait, what? I'm so confused." Like, which I just
Yeah.
didn't think was funny. And then there's just sight gag on top of sight gag, and then like buried in there,
Yeah.
it's actually kind of a cool story. And I feel like if we could just like turn the knobs a little bit and tone down some of the slapstick and turn up the story a little bit, we might be feeling a
Yeah.
little bit more like we felt about Rebuild the Galaxy, where we were into the story.
Yeah.
Because there's something here, but it's buried under a lot of
It's
Legos.
strange, right? They feel like they need to joke and do funny slapsticky things to like keep kids engaged, but it's like
Yeah,
kids are coming to this because they like Star Wars and they like Legos.
yeah. I think it's for me. It's like you got to go just a little bit more one way or the other. Like if it was
Yeah.
just a silly slapstick kind of show, then yeah, you could just kind of roll with it. But it's because like half the time they don't want to do that, and they're really like telling this Star Wars story. So I don't know. It
Yeah.
almost feels like they have the scripts that are the serious stuff, and then they rewatch it, and they're like, okay, let's throw in a bunch of like goofy sight gags and like people trip on each other and stuff. And
It's like, yeah, two teams trying to write one story. That's what it feels, and they just combine them.
there were a couple of sort of subtle sight gags that I thought were funny. Like when they first roll into Mustafar, there was a sign that says Mustafar is for lavas
Oh
rather
yeah, for
than
Lawless, yeah.
like
That was
for
pretty good,
lovers.
yeah.
And then when you see Palpatine's office later, it says Palpatine, winner of the Palpatine Choice Award, which I thought was also funny. And then when they're going into the asteroid field, Grievous passes a sign that says, "Yet another asteroid field."
Yeah.
So there's like these little things that those are going to take away from the story, and it was kind of like a blink if you miss it kind of joke, which
Yeah.
I did kind of think that those were funny. So and I liked Yoda's ship too. I don't know if we've seen that
Yeah.
before, but Yoda has his own ship, and it's kind of like the ship that you see Obi-Wan have. And I thought that was cool. And Palpatine has sort of like it looks like a dark X-wing, which I also liked. So a lot
Yeah.
of the ship designs I thought were cool. And even the thing that when Jack rebuilds one, though it did look a little bit more Star Trekky, I thought that was a cool ship as well. So a lot of cool designs in this, I thought.
It almost looked like a cruise ship, didn't
It
it?
did. It did, but it's just like the
More of a
white and
cruise ship.
the like the lights that are kind of
Yeah.
reflecting up on it. It just had sort of Federation vibes. So
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
not that I'm complaining. There's a lot of Palpatine jumping back and forth, like forgetting who he's
Yes.
with, like taking the hood off and everything. He's with Obi-Wan and Anakin, and he says something that makes him think that he's sympathetic, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sure there are heroes on both sides," and they're like,
Yeah.
"No, they're the
What?
bad guys. Like, what are
Yeah,
you talking about?"
Obi-Wan's like, no,
So,
there's not.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's
So
so
some fun stuff like that.
I did think that was funny, and there was a few times they made it really awkward. Like they did good. Like
Yeah,
there was other times where it was like they the awkwardness was almost too funny and slapsticky. Where this one it
yeah,
was just like it was just like the Jedi arrive on Mustafar and they left Palpatine back on
right.
Endor. So
Andor,
they get
yeah,
there and they're like, Palpatine, what are you doing here talking to the Sith?
right.
And he's like, blah, 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 like it was just like, it was like,
That's
and it
more or
was like,
less. Yeah,
whatever,
that's
fire, and it was just kind
yeah,
of like every single time it got like really awkward, but then broke somehow. Like I loved it when Grievous popped up on the screen in front
yeah,
of Palpatine with all the Jedi behind him. Oh man, I thought that was really funny, and they were like, "Yeah, it's
yeah.
really weird though that you're getting a message,"
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like the action broke. Even Grievous pulls up
Yeah,
next to him and is like, "Hey, hey," and they're like, "Hey,
yeah.
fire upon him."
When we saw the Ewoks, I kind of thought that we were gonna maybe get some cameos of like Nisa or Latara or something like that because they've
Yeah.
already in this show referenced the holiday special.
Mm-hmm.
So surely the Ewoks are not too niche for them. And I was a little disappointed that it seemed like they really had like 3 Ewok designs, and there was like 4 or 5
Yeah.
of the same. Like there was like 3
I
designs.
agree. It was like the headdress was just slightly
Yeah,
different colors, but it was all like
yeah,
almost the
yeah.
same thing. You could see in one scene, you could see Low Gray. and
Yeah, I did.
it's a
Yep.
swipe. It's a swipe. It's going fast,
Yep.
and I like paused it, and I was like, yes, that's definitely his little the manticore or
Yeah.
manticore.
Yeah.
What is it? Yeah, one of those skull headdress. And I was
Yep.
like, there's one. We got
Yeah.
one. They had
Yeah.
chance
That's
to
true.
like even get Wicket in there. Anybody, Latara, Logray, anybody. Chief Chirp, but nope. They just decided to
Yeah.
get one in there as a swing by,
Yeah.
and
So
you just had to
obviously,
have been paying
I would have
attention.
liked more specificity with the Ewoks, but that's
Yeah.
probably there aren't that many people who feel that way. It's just you and me. So,
Yeah.
I'm sure you were excited that Lindo was back on his little disco
So
show.
excited.
So I'm sure you love that. The disco ball was a Death Star, which was kind of funny. And
Yep.
we saw Baby Lando, but I don't really think he had dialogue. I think it was just Billy D as Lindo.
Yeah. This is Billy
Yeah,
D as Linda, I think, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, tough episode.
It was it was kind of tough. What is your Oka Bark moment?
Mine was just the Sith being so dumb. It just got
Yes.
really exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they're making it kind of like everyone's dumb because like the Jedi keep not realizing that
Right.
Sidious is
Right.
Palpatine. But I get that because
Yeah.
that's supposed to happen. They're not supposed to know, so it's still
Right.
fun to
Right.
play around with that.
Yeah.
But like all the Sith being dumb just got really exhausting. So what about you?
Well, it still would be nice if the bad guys still seemed like bad guys. Like there was any amount of
Yeah.
like, oh, they're gonna get him or whatever. But it's just not that kind of show at all. And I was thinking about Vashti, who was our featured cast member in this, it's such a cute character design, and it's like a great
Yeah.
voice. And paying attention to her, I was thinking like, I kind of wish this show was about that Padawan group.
Yeah. It kind of started out as that and then stopped.
Yeah, it seemed like that's what we were gonna do, but instead it's really more Palpatine than anybody. It's like I know it's
this
called
episode
the
is all about
Yoda
Palpatine.
Chronicles, but it's not really about Yoda. So I feel like this isn't really my Oak of Arc, but it's just a general
really about
criticism. I think, yeah, it's true. Is that it really just doesn't have a focus, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it would be a lot better if it really was like about Yoda and these kids.
Yeah.
And other stuff was happening, but it just seems like they're just tripping over each other to reference Star Wars. And it's like, it's a Star Wars show. Like, we know it's Star Wars. So you don't have to keep telling us. But anyway, this is like a Steve Rudd Oak of Arc. This is it's a very nitpicky thing. So I think that you'll respect it. But I just really don't like having C-3PO and the Ewoks together, and the Ewoks don't treat him like they treat him in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Like the same thing happened in the comic crossover that we watched. And when it starts, they land and it's just like Yoda and Palpatine and the Ewoks, and I think Vashti and some of the other kids. And C-3PO's not there. And I was like, oh, that's smart. They're just going to keep C-3PO on the ship, and then they never have to address it. But later, he's there, and the end credits are all a whole big thing about the Ewoks like singing. And never once do they think he's like the Golden One. They never. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like, you've only watched the Star Wars movie and you watch this, like, that is the thing.
That's the
C-3PO just think he's the god. And, like, I don't know why they couldn't have played with that. I don't know why. Like, either don't have him be with the Ewoks or just do it. That really bugged me.
I think that's I think your point of, like, what is this? Oh, like, I know we're watching episodes, but, like, what is this show about? Who is it about? Yeah. Right? It's not even about Yoda because, I mean, Yoda kind of was, he was in it, but he wasn't like a part. He wasn't the focal point of anything. So you're right.
No,
Sidious
he never
was really the focal point.
He never seems like he is the point of view character or anything like that.
Yeah.
I never like the crawl with the like, oh, I'm the Clone Wars. Like, I don't like that. Even in the Clone Wars show, it feels
even in the Clone Wars show, I hate it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like if they changed nothing and just cut that out and had Yoda narrating this, like kind of contextualizing things and everything, then you could kind of, even without even shooting new footage, they could have kind of used some dialogue to make it feel a little bit more cohesive. But as now, like, it just, it's like each episode is kind of its own thing, and yet there is a very serialized plot going through. And maybe kids would just be like, oh, look at this, like, Lego shenanigans, that's fine. And probably Probably some would, but I feel like the age that this is geared toward would appreciate just a little bit more cohesion, like a
Yeah.
more clear through line. But I don't
You
know.
feel like
Uh,
you feel like they kind of made each episode as if you didn't watch the previous ones. You could just stand alone watch this one, and I think
yeah,
that's smart, but also a mistake at the same
yeah,
time because nothing because there's a different driver. It feels like there's a different
yeah.
driver every
Well,
episode.
that's why it
You
was
know,
so jarring to me when Jack showed up because it was like nothing that led into that
I
felt
forgot
even like
about
the
him.
same show. I did too. That's what
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
and you don't. I don't know. What about the good? Let's talk about the good. What's your
yeah.
Ichiwawa moment?
I loved the asteroid field music. For me, like
Oh, okay,
that's one of my favorite pieces of music from John Williams for the movie. And
okay.
I love that scene. I love the music. So hearing that, I was like, oh, so good. I did like I did like that I could see Logray, and I
Yeah,
thought it was really funny, like silly, and I probably should have hated it, but when the Ewoks were singing and they were like, "Oh, what are they saying?" and C3PO is like, "It's loosely translated. It's hot and smelly inside these suits."
yeah,
I thought that was kind of like, I don't know why I laughed at that. It's really not funny, but it kind of is funny because we know
yeah.
that
I mean,
they
it's a
are
meta
in suits.
reference, you know. I mean,
It's a good
yeah,
meta reference, yeah.
yeah,
That but like it caused me to chuckle because it was just like, oh yeah. I mean, you can
yeah.
kind of make up whatever they are saying. It doesn't actually
Right,
matter. But I just thought it was
right.
kind of funny that that's what they
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
What about you?
I mean, I loved that the Ewoks showed up. I was excited about
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah. Of course, of
So I
course,
mean
yeah.
that could be the be all end all of Ichiwawa moments, but no, specifically I thought it was funny the way that they played the net trap twice. You know, the first time
Yeah.
they're walking in an Endor and I was like, hey, it's the Ewoks, and then out of nowhere it's like boom, they get sucked up in that net, and I thought that was pretty
Yep.
funny. And then the second time with
Clever.
C3PO, he sees like the
The
like it's like a
head
cow mask, yeah, like on a pike, and he's like, oh, that's familiar. And then the net
is
comes
off
up again,
again.
and I was like, that's a good
Yeah.
1-2 punch of a joke. And
Yeah.
yeah, I still like the Ewoks singing their song, and everybody like they're still singing this song. What's going on? So I thought, those things were pretty funny, even with the caveat that it was pretty lazy on the Ewok designs.
It was very lazy.
How many Yub-Nubs?
I don't know. It's funny. I never checked the time on this one because it felt like
I did 18 minutes 22 seconds. That's where I cracked.
that's when you cracked 18 minutes. Wow,
Mhm.
that's impressive.
Yeah, yeah, I went pretty far.
For me, it felt like a highway with tolls, where like you'd be flying, and then you had to really slow down and almost stop, and then it
Yeah.
started back up again. So there was never a time where I was like, all right, I feel derailed and I need to like check what time it is because this has got to end
Okay.
soon. And it just like for me, it flowed and flowed and it felt like,
Okay.
oh, I guess we're coming up to the end here. And I never checked the time. And so I was impressed with that, but they had very little story to work with. So I feel like they should have nailed it. And they didn't. It was so disjointed and all over the place.
It
And
really
like
was.
you
Yeah.
said, because they couldn't focus on any one person, it was all over the place. It just felt like we were watching a story happen from like the worst perspective that you could possibly
Yeah.
view it at. So you really
Yeah.
aren't sure what's going on because you don't get the full context of everything. So I don't know, man. That's like a 2.5 or 3. Now I go at a 3 because I felt like it was okay a lot of times. I didn't ever hate it, but I was just like, what? I'm not understanding what's going on right now. What about you? You going two
Yeah.
and a
I
half or
don't know.
two?
I just didn't really like it. I'm going to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I mean, I should give it higher because the Ewoks were in it, but I felt like it was kind of a
They
step
didn't even
down
do
from the
good with
previous
that
ones.
though.
So, no,
Like,
I know.
it,
You're right.
I mean, throw something in there from the 80s for crying out
Yeah.
loud. If you're going to have Ewoks, because there wasn't really much Ewok content at all, even before
Yeah, sure.
this, right?
Yep.
And so it's just like, this is like
Yeah.
one of the first times where there's like solid, like 4 minutes, 5 minutes of on screen Ewok stuff.
Hmm.
And there was no nod to 2 full seasons of Ewoks. Come
Yeah.
on, man.
I know.
Eh,
What a letdown. Up next is an episode that I feel like started this whole we should try other genres for no reason.
Yeah.
We were like, we should talk about the Dukes of Hazzard cartoon. So next time, it is finally happening. We are turning to the Dukes of Hazzard. The show is called The Dukes, and we'll be covering the episode aptly titled "Put Up Your Dukes," and it's readily available on YouTube and all those places. So go watch it, and then we'll talk about it next week.
Oh man, I can't wait. I bet every episode has Dukes in it, right? Somehow the word Dukes.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, I'll see you then.
Okay.
This Endorian Life is brought to you by the Radio Meanwhile Network. Be sure to check out some of the other shows on the network, including Previously on X-Men and 902 and Here We Go. Please rate, subscribe, and share these shows wherever you get your podcasts.